How's it going, ladies and bruises? I'm Bobby Sixkilla. Welcome back to Root Double. We are finally getting some long overdue revelations from Yuri here, who seems to know basically everything about everything. She's filling us in on all the mysteries of the place, and it was taking a while, so we need to cut that into 2 episodes. So let's carry on with finding out about the girl that we found shot by the cargo lift, who we don't really know who it is yet, apart from the fact that she has mentioned that she is a test subject. You know too, don't you, Hikaru? A girl died by the cargo lift. That girl may have been a test subject confined in Labo, just like me. Now that she mentioned it, he remembered one of the casualties found in the facility had been a lone girl of unknown origin. I've heard there was another test subject in Labo besides me. She was wearing testing clothes, so I'm sure it was her. So the bulkheads went to prevent just your escape, but hers as well. Yeah, though I don't know the reason why the lockdown has gone on for so long. What Yuri didn't know was probably whatever Labo thought would be bad for her to know. What exactly was a KSN? That had been a mystery up until now. In any case, that means the terrorists with Watase got locked in here thanks to the KSN announcement, right? But something about that just doesn't sound right. Perhaps it was a fluke or something. What exactly was their original goal? Judging by Q's ideology and creed, they'd probably be no greater target than the world's strongest communicator, Yuri. And yet Watase said that his goal wasn't to kill Yuri. He injected her with AD and left her where she was. He did set the place on fire though, so he was probably expecting the fire to kill her. I still don't quite understand what it was that the terrorists were thinking. What if you restored Captain Kasasagi's memory? I probably could if I wanted to, but we shouldn't. Before he lost his memory, Watase was homicidal and full of malice. He could very well turn out like that again. In truth, the vast malice had threatened to come back several times already. Just a small peek of the erased memories could potentially cause Watase to become ferocious again. After all, peeking into Watase's memories meant making him remember them. But still, it's weird. What is? After he lost his memories, Captain Kasasagi was such a nice person. He didn't seem like the same man who strangled me at all. True. It may have been because you were inside his mind though. True enough, Watase had been straining to save everyone. Like a true rescue worker. But even if Watase were a good man, the second he regained his memories, he could very well lose that character. But is it okay to leave him as is? How long can we keep him in this unnatural state? Needless to say, it would be difficult. Dr. Tenkawa had said it herself in Yuri's memories. Memories erased with sense sympathy could return if given the chance. And Watase nearly regained his memories several times. But in that case, what do I do? As soon as the thought crossed Natsuhiko's mind, they heard a sound from outside the door. Natsuhiko, it's me. Please open up. It was Watase's voice. Did he bring Sally with him? Natsuhiko rushed to the keypad beside the door and entered the password, upon which Watase appeared. Sorry, I'm late. Watase spoke sadly as he entered the shelter, and oddly he was alone. Captain Kasasagi, where's Sally? She was gone. Huh? I went to the emergency staircase where she fell, but she wasn't there. Natsuhiko gasped. Sally disappeared too? Astonished by the turn of events, Natsuhiko tried to use empathy on Watase. He then heard Watase's mental voice. Did I take too long to get there? She might have already woken up. But where would she go? Watase didn't appear to be lying, which was a relief to Natsuhiko. So basically, Sally probably woke up and went somewhere else, just as Watase had surmised. In that case, I should be able to contact her through telepathy. Natsuhiko tried doing so immediately. Sally, can you hear me? Please respond mentally if you can. I'll listen for your answer through empathy. And just as he had told her, he tried using empathy on Sally, but... Huh? No matter how many times he used empathy, he couldn't hear her mental voice. What's going on? Why can't I communicate with Sally? Natsuhiko panicked as he tried to think of possible reasons, but there was only one thing he could think of. I see, Sally's probably injected with AD. Now that he thought about it, there were signs that Sally had been injecting herself. Like how they had found empty AD ampules in places where she'd been. Or how she was able to grapple with Watase in the WX particle contaminated area N. Sally doesn't know this place is actually a BC research facility. So she must have read a disaster prevention manual somewhere and kept injecting herself with AD under the belief that it's radiation inhibitor. But talking about that point with Watase would complicate matters. Natsuhiko concluded that Sally waking up safely meant that she would probably be fine for the time being, so he changed the subject. Do you think Salia felt endangered and hid herself somewhere? I sure hope so, but... Something bugging you? She might be searching for me. Huh? Searching for you? Why? I've said this before, but that girl doesn't trust me at all. She herself told me in Tachibana. Why? You were unconscious, Natsuhiko, but do you remember hearing that conversation? No. I see. Watase's expression rapidly became pensive, and the more Watase thought, the more uneasy Natsuhiko got. Say, Natsuhiko, I know both you and that Mashido girl got shot, but did you happen to see the face of the shooter? No, I didn't. He was hiding his face. Honest? Honest, why do you ask? Well, you might think it's weird for me to say this, but I can't keep silent about it any longer. Watase drew closer to Natsuhiko and continued, the truth is, these strange images flash before my eyes whenever I see you kids. They're so vivid, that like my own memories. They're all disturbing images tinged with rage, fear and bloodlust. Like me fighting with some sort of monster or shooting someone from behind. So maybe... I didn't even want to think about it, but... Was I the one who shot you kids? What? What makes you think that? Sally said that I was a terrorist. That I was the one who shot you. But I tried not to think about it because I'm supposed to be a rescue squad captain. After hearing everything Tachibana and Mortabe said about me, I thought there was no way I could be a terrorist. But what about you, Yuri? You've been afraid of me ever since you first saw me, haven't you? No. Could it have been for the same reason? Because I'm not a rescue squad captain, but a terrorist? Do you kids know who I really was before I lost my memory? Please tell me. Even Natsuhiko could see how thoroughly confused Watase was. Watase was probably scared to know the truth, and Natsuhiko was scared to tell it to him. However, we can't keep this up. It doesn't look like we can keep deceiving him like this for much longer. Natsuhiko quietly asked a question. Captain Kasasagi, do you want to regain your lost memories? Both Watase and Yuri's eyes widened at those words. Hikiden, what are you saying? I'm sorry, Yuri, I know what I said earlier, but now that he's noticed, we don't have much of a choice. What are you two talking about? You don't have a choice in regards to what exactly? Don't worry about that now, Captain Kasasagi. Please answer me. Do you want to regain your memory? Once you do regain your memories, it may very well change who you are. The current Watase, the rescue squad captain who desperately struggled to save everyone's lives, could disappear. Once you learn the truth, your perception of the world could change. Your relations with everyone around us could take an about face and make enemies out of everyone. And once you know the truth, there's no turning back. Do you still want to regain your memory? Watase silently pondered the question for a moment. Yeah. And answered with a grave voice. I can't stand being in the dark any longer. I can't stand considering the possibility that I could be a bad guy when I don't even know what it is I've done. Natsuhiko understood Watase's bitter sentiment. That's right. I thought you'd say something like that. You want proof that your will to save everyone, even at the cost of your own life, is genuine, don't you? And with that consideration, Natsuhiko finally made up his mind. If that's the case, Captain Kasasagi, then let me tell you the truth. I've been lying to you all this time. Your suspicions were correct. The auditory hallucination you've been hearing was indeed my telepathy. Yes, just like this. What? Watase's face froze instantly. Natsuhiko continued as Watase stared back at him in shock. Furthermore, I've been using empathy to listen to your mental voice all this time as well. I've been sharing your senses. Everything you've seen, I've seen as well. But BC abilities don't stop there. I can manipulate memories. Your memories disappeared because of me. Natsuhiko's words quietly echoed in the still shelter. What? Watase was greatly perturbed by Natsuhiko's declaration. I can manipulate memories? He would have laughed at the very idea if it under any other circumstances, but there was not a single trace of a lie in Natsuhiko's voice and face at that moment. Is that true? He tried thinking that was a test, only to get an immediate telepathic response. Yeah, it is. There was no longer any room for doubt. Natsuhiko was reading Watase's mind and talking directly into it. So people like this really do exist. Suddenly, the seemingly normal boy who had been standing before him now looked like a monster, wielding a mysterious power in Watase's eyes. And seeing as how she didn't look surprised in the slightest. Perhaps Yuri also had the same power. Natsuhiko. Watase called out to Natsuhiko in a shaky voice. If it's true that you erase my memories, then is it possible for you to restore them? Yeah, of course. Then please do it. The key to all these unsolved mysteries should be in my memories. You're probably right, but if I'm going to be totally honest here, I don't want to do it. You understand what I'm getting at? Watase pondered the meaning of those words. Why wouldn't Natsuhiko want to give back his memories? He could think of only one answer for that. So I really am the one who attacked Natsuhiko and his friends. So he erased my memories and rendered me powerless in order to protect himself. Watase wanted to collapse onto his knees right there and then. If that was true, then that meant the gun Watase had found lying near Natsuhiko in Area N most likely belonged to Watase himself. He used it to shoot Natsuhiko and left it there. If his theory was correct, then it explained everything. All the pieces had fallen into place. Shit. Watase gritted his teeth. He had no idea what kind of person he'd been before his amnesia, but there was no doubt he'd been a wicked man. The thought made Watase's heart feel like it would shatter into a million pieces. Then, does that mean I don't have a chance in hell of earning their trust? Trust. There was one thing Watase wanted more than anything else at the moment. There was absolutely no way he could rescue the others if he wished... the others he wished to save if they didn't trust him. He had to show him his resolve in order to gain that trust. Yes, that's right, the resolve to cast away my own life. But how do I show them the past me and the current me are different? Wait, I know. He absolutely could not put himself above them. Watase then thought about the object in his breast pocket. The pistol. It was the only way. Natsuhiko. Watase resolved himself and took out the gun. Their faces warped with fright. Natsuhiko stepped forward to protect Yuri, but Watase calmly held out the gun and gently presented it to Natsuhiko. Take this, and then restore my memories for me after that. Huh? Your greatest fear is the chance that I'll attack you guys again once I get my memories back, right? So this is just a precaution. If I try to attack you as soon as I get my memories back, then shoot me down. Don't hesitate. What? Sounds like my old self is a rather untrustworthy son of a bitch. But the current me? It's probably different. Watase believed that. But nothing he ever said right now could convince him of that, so he had to express himself through the actions rather than words. Please. This is the only way I can show you my sincerity. I'd rather die than kill you guys. Captain Kasasagi, the earnesty of his pleas seemed to finally draw a hint of trust out of Natsuhiko. Natsuhiko timidly stretched his hand out and took the gun. Natsuhiko grasped the gun tightly and stared at Watase. The man's words and demeanor held not an ounce of insincerity. He really is a good guy deep down. A little awkward, sure, but still good. Natsuhiko found it highly unlikely that merely connecting with Watase's mind could possibly produce such a noble character. Natsuhiko had always thought that Watase's rebirth from a deranged murderer to be a completely different person after amnesia was only a temporary change. That Watase's true character was evil through and through, but now... could it be the opposite? Could it be that Watase's true character is good, and it was the pre-amnesiac Watase that was the temporary one? And if for some reason Watase became vicious at the time, now that he thought about that possibility, it explained a lot. No, wait, it's not just Watase. Come to think of it, Jun, Miss Tachibana, and Mr. Ukita's sudden abnormal shift in behavior all seem to resemble Watase's character transfiguration. If some external cause is causing everyone to become vicious, then doesn't that make Watase just another victim here? Natsuhiko had firmly believed original Watase equals vicious terrorist, but now that presumption quickly became suspect. But if that weren't the case, then why did Watase have a gun? If he weren't a terrorist, there was no way he'd bring a gun into the facility. Ina did. Who was the true Watase and how long had he been made vicious? What was his purpose in coming to the facility in the first place? Natsuhiko had the feeling he'd find the answer to all those questions within Watase's memories. Understood. Captain Kasasagi, I'll restore your memory. Can I count on you? Yes, I'm the one who erased it, so I'll be the one to restore it. When those words left Natsuhiko's lips, Yuri gasped and raised her voice. Wait, he couldn't, I'll do it. You? You've never done restoration of erased memories before, have you? I do have some experience with memory fabrication though. I'll be able to manage. I'm not so sure, so I'll do it instead. No, Yuri, it's dangerous. Natsuhiko stubbornly resisted Yuri's suggestion. When I dove through Captain Kasasagi's memories before, I was exposed to an enormous malice inside his mind. It was so intense it felt like it could have corrupted my own mind as well. I can't afford to expose you to that same malice. No way, but then you'll be the one in danger, Hikiden. No, it's okay, Yuri. I think I'm more resistant to the malice than you are. Yuri grew quiet for a moment, but she eventually made up her mind and spoke up. Then at least allow me to explain the memory restoration process in detail. There are a lot of things I need to warn you about beforehand. Yeah, please do. Yuri thus began her explanation. I think maybe you should ask him. Ask Watase who he'd rather have do it. First, when you enter Captain Kasasagi's, because I'd pick someone who has more experience. When you enter Captain Kasasagi's brain, I believe you'll see countless fragments of memories floating around. Those fragments are the visualizations of the information that fills the human brain. Natsuhiko had guessed as much. Yuri continued once Natsuhiko nodded to indicate his comprehension. It normally takes a considerable amount of practice to reach the visualization stage, but it seems you've already reached it. Yeah, when I entered your brain in Marshida's, I was able to visualize the information. You were, weren't you? So all of the memories Captain Kasasagi originally had should be found within the visualized brain. The memories you deleted may be fragmented and unrecallable, but they should still be there somewhere. Now that you mention it, Mum also said something like that in one of your memories. But within each memory, you see, Captain Kasasagi will remember it too at the same time. So if you want to restore his memory to how it was, you have to perform memory access for all the memories you erased. Memory access? You take all the target's memories and focus hard on which subject matter of memories you want to see. Do that and you'll recompose the fragmented memories and return them back to normal. I know it might sound difficult, but all you really need to do is try to remember the memories you want to see in a simple way that you would try to remember your own memories. Incidentally, when you saw my memories in Marshidon's, you're performing memory access. Huh? What's that? With Marshidon, you're accessing the memories that pertain to the criterion of why she lied to you. With me, the criteria were probably what happened 9 years ago and what I've been doing ever since then. I see, so that's what it was. So in other words, what I'm doing is borrowing Captain Kasasagi's brain and getting him to remember his memories himself, huh? Exactly. And that's because you're using sense sympathy to connect your brains. Which meant that to restore Watase's memories to normal, Natsuhiko just had to do the opposite of what he did when he erased those memories. He had performed memory erasure with the criterion of all the memories composing Watase's personality. So all he needed to do was perform memory access with the same criterion and view those memories. Got it, any other key points? When reading memories, try your best to start from the oldest ones first, I guess. Because it's far easier to understand the target's past by going through it in chronological order. Another important point, when you view a target's memories, your impressions influence the memories themselves. They cause subtle changes in the details of the memory, so be careful. Subtle changes in the details of the memory, you mean like memory manipulation? It's not exactly on the scale of manipulation, but it's close. For example, let's suppose that in Captain Kasasagi's memory, you meet Lieutenant Tachibana, okay? Okay. If you think, I like her at that moment, then it'll give Captain Kasasagi a favourable impression of Lieutenant Tachibana as well. The opposite is possible too. That's what we've been doing this whole time. But, does that... Wait. Because we've been able to do sense sympathy right from the very beginning, right? So does that mean that we're like inside one of their heads doing this? We're viewing someone else's memories? Holy crap, when we were in like the before route or the after route was first, right? Or before route. One of those, when we were in those, the sense sympathy thing was always there. Does that mean we were viewing those as a memory in someone else's head from the outside? Or from the inside, but as a connected entity? Jesus. You mean that even if reality doesn't change, impressions can? That's how we can change what endings we get. Because we're changing... Oh my god. Exactly, the images inside the head are ambiguous to begin with, you see. And so the impressions you have will become the truth for the target. Never forget that. Yuri's warning reminded Natsuhiko the words he'd heard a few days ago. People tend to rewrite their own memories unconsciously. Even if the truth doesn't change, feelings do. There is no absolute truth. The past is a haze of ambiguity. That's what the Phantom Yuri said. And perhaps the same could be said in regards to reading other people's memory. So to objectively learn the truth the way it was, should I try to keep my consciousness as flat as possible when I look through memories? Sounds right. I tried to do that too, for the most part. Those are all the key points. Are you okay so far? Does that mean I should just keep everything at a 5 or a 0 or something? And with that, Natsuhiko mentally sorted through what he was told. There were 3 things he had to remember. To restore Watase's memory back to normal, Natsuhiko had to access Watase's memories of the past and view them. To best understand Watase, Natsuhiko should read his memories in chronological order, starting from the oldest. Natsuhiko's impressions during sense sympathy influence Watase's memory, thus Natsuhiko should keep his consciousness as flat as possible. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there'll be any problems. Okay, then last of all, Yuri grasped Natsuhiko's hand. Hikarin, even if it looks you're about to lose to the malice within Captain Kasasagi's mind, I'll be there for you. If you ever feel in danger during sense sympathy, think of me. When your mind threatens to shatter, that should provide you with salvation. Yuri gazed at Natsuhiko as she spoke anxiously. Her words gave him courage more than anything else. Yeah, glad you have my back, Yuri. Yuri smiled at Natsuhiko, and with the gun gripped in his left hand, Natsuhiko turned back to Watase. Sorry for the wait, Captain Kasasagi. Let's begin work on restoring your memory. Yeah, I'm ready when you are. Watase seemed nervous. Natsuhiko walked up to him. Here we go. And activated sense sympathy. Well, this is going to be crazy. At that moment, Natsuhiko's brain connected with Watase's. Countless visions flickered in the darkness in the same way they did when Natsuhiko saw Yuri and Marshall's memories. Those visions were all probably Watase's memories. First up is memory access. Let's access all the memories comprising Watase's original personality. That is, all the memories related to this incident. Natsuhiko recalled. In order to resurrect Watase's lost memory, remember the past of Watase Kasasagi. Remember all of the memories that shaped his personality. Once Natsuhiko concentrated on that desire, several memories floated up from the darkness. I just need to view all those one by one. With that in mind, Natsuhiko peeked into the oldest of those memories. It was clearly different from the simple sense sympathy that Natsuhiko had been using on Watase before. Now that is a tongue twister. Simple sense of sympathy. Visions like that of a dream long forgotten appeared to him. Those were Watase's memories, the ones Natsuhiko had sealed away to protect Mashido. Natsuhiko looked at the oldest memory Watase had that was relevant to the incident. Was this from when Watase was back in high school? Just like when he checked Yuri's memories, he knew for a fact, without anyone telling him. It was a memory of 16 years ago when Watase was just 16 years old. That day, Watase had been quietly reading a book in his room and as he listened to classical music. And along with that sense of nostalgia, he heard her cheery voice play back in his ears. Watase! Watase's calm, relaxing tone was completely annihilated by that voice. Oh great, her again? Watase turned around to see a girl whose face resembled his own. Wataru? Oh come on, Wataru. I don't think the whole neighborhood quite heard that one. Summing up? Look outside, isn't the weather just wonderful? Huh? Wait, that's it? Quit burying your head in those textbooks and come outside and play with me. No playing outside because the weather is nice, it's something kids do. Oh, don't be a spoil sport, you're gonna grow moldy if you stay cooped up in this room forever. Wataru forcefully pried Watase away from his desk. Hey, come on, let's get a move on. We're gonna go to the city, so hurry up and get your things. Okay, fine, just give me a sec. Watase tried resisting her for a short while, but he soon caved in. He knew better by now than to go against Wataru whenever she wanted to do something. The gentle sunlight bathed the city streets. Watase and Wataru walked side by side in that weather. It really is such a nice day, huh? Feels like the whole world's shining. I guess. Watase replied to Wataru's overjoyed voice with an apathetic mutter. Though she was his older twin sister, and had almost the exact same face as him, their personalities could not be any more different. Watase was an indoor person who liked spending his days off reading books. Hence why the only reason he was out of the house right now was because Wataru had taken him out and around town. So why do you want to go to the city? Need something to do here? Nah, just figured I'd look and see if there was anything I could get for you. Just got my latest paycheck from my part-time job, so it's on me. Oh, then maybe some paperbacks from the bookstore would be nice. No and no, that'd kill the whole purpose of me treating you. We need something that we'll actually have fun buying. I know, how about your big sis picks out some clothes for you? Huh? No, you don't need to. Why not? You've actually got some nice looks to start out with, so you can't let it go to waste by being plain all the time. Is that your subtle way of complimenting yourself? I was going to say, because they're twins. I guess you could look at it that way too. Wataru walked with a clear destination in mind as they had that talk. She took Watase to a cheap trendy clothes shop and bought him all sorts of clothes. They left the store with Watase covered in his new apparel and with Wataru looking at him approvingly. Yeah, it's perfect. You look pretty sharp there if I do say so myself. You think so? Watase had never been particularly mindful of what he wore. He just didn't think it was all that important. Whatever. Anyway, I'm starving. Let's get a bite to eat. Okay then. But it's on you this time, you hear? Oh, fine. I guess I can do that. Yay, then let's go to the usual pasta joint. Cheering happily with a skip in her step, Watase walked off. Watase followed behind her languidly. But are you sure you want to be spending your Sunday hanging out with your brother? Why not? It's a really beautiful day and it's the weekend. You don't have a boyfriend or anything. Oh, I don't need someone like that. Not when I've got my cute little brother. Hey, what's with that reaction? That ain't cute at all. Watase let out a wry laugh at Wataru's melodramatic voice. The twins then finished eating. They checked the bookstore afterwards and looked at some new novels, and before they knew it, the sun was coming down. It's gonna get dark real soon. Shouldn't we be heading home? Yeah, we left without telling Mum and Dad a thing after all. The twins decided to walk home to save money on bus fare. And on their way home, Wataru suddenly shouted as they passed the fire department. Ah, Watase, look! Look at that! Watase looked into the station to see men wearing orange uniforms coming out. Who are they? They look a bit too snazzy to be firefighters. They're a rescue squad. A rescue squad? Our city has one of those? Nope, they were probably just sent in from Tokyo or somewhere to give our firefighters some disaster prevention training. Huh. So what's the big deal about them? What do you mean what's the big deal? They're so cool. Huh? Oh, so you're into macho men like that? No, not that. I'm strictly talking about their job, not their appeal as men. They go through hell and high water to save lives. I really look up to people like that. Really? But there's no female rescue workers out there now, huh? If possible, I'd like to be one. What? That's news to me. You want a crappy job like that? Hey, don't call it a crappy job. It's a wonderful line of work. Sorry, tongue slipped. But a rescue worker, huh? Watase carefully looked Wataru over. She certainly had the attitude, but she wasn't all that good at sports. I think it'll be tough for you. Won't know until I actually make it to that point. I'll think about that stuff after I become one. I'm worried about if you can become one. Hey, it's a really bad taste to stomp on people's dreams. Don't you ever dream? Not really. Huh? Man, you're a real lonely boy, you know that? You can't blame me on that one. The world's in recession and Japan's hitting a dead end. Future's not looking all that bright. You're overthinking things, Watase. Do that and you'll just wuss out to the point where you won't be able to make sense of anything anymore. You really think so? Betsy, I think it'd be better if you think a bit before you act. You'd rather not be thinking along the same lines as her. But Wataru paid no heed to Watase's disapproval as she shifted her hand in the air. Okay, I've made up my mind. Running training starts tomorrow. Sure, sounds nice. Try to stick with this one longer than 3 days. Why are you talking like you're not a part of this? You're gonna train with me. Huh? Why me? Because it'll last longer with 2 people, right? Besides, it's the perfect way to get your scrawny body into shape, right? Sounds like a total pain in the ass. But as usual, Wataru wouldn't change her mind no matter what he said. And she was right that Watase was out of shape. Okay, fine, I'll train with you, but only for a little while. Yay, see, that's what little brothers are for. Wataru let out a smile filled with happiness from the bottom of her heart. What she had talked about may not have been enough to call a dream, but it was a fact that she was looking forward to her own future. Her innocent and pure hopes for her future. Having nothing like that at all, Watase couldn't help but be a little jealous of her sister. After Wataru suggested that the two of them started running together, Watase obeyed his sister's wishes and trained with her. That said, there wasn't much of a system to it aside from run to some random spot in the city. 3 months had passed since then. Watase and Wataru were running together on that Sunday morning to train up their stamina. They had run about 3 kilometers away from their house when... Watase, wait up! Wataru cried out to him. What's this, need to take a break already? Boy, how lame. Watase stopped in his tracks, only to immediately hear his sister speak between her gasps for air. This isn't fair. How is there already such a huge gap in our stamina, even though we had the same face and do the same training? Hell if I know. Could be our difference in gender, or maybe it's because we come from different eggs. I refuse to accept that. Well, anyway, I guess I'm a bit thirsty, so sure. Let's take a little break. I don't see why not. Yay! The twins walked up to a nearby vending machine and bought sports drinks. They rested up as they drank them down, only to hear the strange voices from somewhere. Citizens of Rokume, lend me your ears. We are the citizen group known as the Anti-BC League. What's all the commotion? They looked at the direction of the voices to find men in suits standing in front of a building. One of them was giving a sort of speech with a megaphone in hand. We are the voices of all those who object against the managers of the PRC. We are the people, the people have been forced to pay heavy taxes, all in the name of researching this dubious technique known as BC. Are you content with turning a blind eye to this transgression without sufficient representation? The man was shouting while facing the people walking down the street. No, facing the large building not too far from him. It was a big research facility that had been built nearly 2 years ago. It was the Rokume City Parapsychology Research Center, or PRC for short. It appeared they were giving a speech condemning the facility right in front of it. The hell's this? What are they whining about? Oh, they must be that BC rejection citizens group that's been troubling the city recently. BC? You've never heard of it? It was all over the news. A little while back, they scientifically proved that psychic powers like telepathy really exist. It seems that such abilities like sending your voice to a faraway person or reading someone's mind were given the general term BC. Oh yeah, I think I did hear about that. Watase didn't watch TV, nor did he browse the internet all that much. Last year he had scarce knowledge of topics that he wasn't all that interested in. So how exactly did they prove this BC stuff actually exists? Let's see, well it started 2 years ago when a French scientist accidentally discovered the way in which a person's genes determined if they're capable of using psychic powers. Well, people thought his theory was total BS at first, but early this year the research team in PRC made a great discovery that supported his theory. What great discovery? They discovered elementary particles known as BC particles that convey people's mental voices. Huh, mental voices, huh? The PRC was in a huge uproar after that. They said it was a discovery that completely revolutionized the world of science, and that they would put all their effort into researching it. The Rokume City Council backed them up by deciding to invest truckloads of the city's budget into their research. Huh. Watase kept responding disinterestedly. He found it somewhat comical how adults were getting so worked up over the research of something as much as an enigma as ESP. So that's what they do at this huge place. Watase looked toward the PRC as he thought that, I need to see a person in the facility. It looks like Salia. A young woman was standing at the window on the 3rd floor. A blonde. Is she a foreigner? She looked down at the citizen group with dull eyes as they gave their speech. The group continued to give their soapbox speech in a voice loud enough for the woman to hear it. BC users from all over the globe known as communicators have been gathering in our city ever since this spring due to the PRC's research. But where did the budget required to invite them all come from to begin with? Is there even a need for this sort of research to be conducted in our beloved Rokume City to begin with? Well, we got a message for you. Rokume City does not need a BC research center. We cannot acknowledge communicators as official citizens without discussion. Watase felt exasperated at their hysteric cries. But why are these guys getting so mad? The research at the PRC and the gathering at the Espers had nothing to do with them. Ah, well, they give all sorts of reasons, but to be honest, I think it's because they're basically scared of those people. Scared? Why? Because a whole lot of communicators, people who can use BC that is, have been coming to the city. And the city is conducting research these people really don't understand. But why is it such a big deal for them? Well, the thing is, there have been these BC related incidents happening from time to time in other countries. For example, there have been cases of people in England and France burning down communicators' homes. Horrible incidents like that. You shitting me? So ordinary people afraid of psychics attack the psychics themselves? Sounds like something out of a sci-fi novel. It's already the 21st century. Hard to believe that kind of stuff is happening for real. But when he thought about it carefully, Watase found that he understood why people would be afraid of mind readers. In more religious countries, those Espers could perhaps even be seen as servants of the devil. Scared, huh? It also sounded like Rokume City and the PRC were gathering those communicators for their research, all while barely explaining a thing to the townspeople, including Watase. Well, I guess I can kind of see where the citizens group is coming from. Huh? Hold on, you serious? Oh yeah, I mean, don't you feel uncomfortable with guys who can read your mind being all around the city? Your privacy will go straight to hell and you can forget about having any perverted fantasies. Oh, so you've perverted fantasies, huh? No, I don't. Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is that they don't have to do that kind of research in our city. I really don't care if Espers actually exist or not, but I'd prefer they were gathered in any city other than Rokume. Wataru did not look pleased at all by what Watase was saying. I'm surprised, I never thought you were so narrow-minded. When it comes down to it, communicators are just ordinary people like us, aren't they? So there's no real harm in them gathering here. Rokume City is a calm and peaceful city, so if communicators who were persecuted in their home countries could gather here, then... No, see, that's my point. It's because Rokume is such a beautiful city that having these potentially problematic guys come here is an issue. Jeez, Watase, quit overthinking all this, you coward. Watase said that and turned away in a huff. And here comes the sulking. What's gotten into you? Why are you siding with the communicators so much? Because I feel bad for them, don't you? I mean, it's not like they chose to be born as communicators. Yet they will get picked on because they're different from ordinary people. That just makes me want to protect them. And here we go, your saviour complex is rearing its head again. They call that the Florence Nightingale complex. So? Something wrong with that? It's just the way I am. I mean, that's also basically why I want to be a rescue worker. No, I'm not saying anything wrong with it, but in that case, why do you want to be a rescue worker? Wouldn't you be better suited as a nurse or something? The twins felt very comfortable with each other, so Watase had no problem bluntly speaking his mind to Wataru. They always had these kinds of conversations, so Wataru answered him without sounding hurt in the slightest. Well, even I think that it's rather simplistic, but there's something I want to be. I know, a rescue worker, right? No, how do I put it? Actually, I want to be a hero of justice. Great sayer man. A hero of justice? Watase stared at Wataru in wonder from her sudden confession. Are rescue workers really heroes of justice? Well, this isn't really related to that group, but there are all different kinds of justice in the world, aren't there? Well, where'd all this come from? Just hear me out. Anyway, that group considers taking action against BC as justice in their own eyes, right? Yeah. On the other hand, the people of the PRC probably believe that researching BC is just. We all have our own personal sense of justice, communicator or not. When you take everyone's definition of justice into account and empathise with all those people, you can no longer tell what's just and what's evil. That's because you have a habit of empathising with others right away. You even cry when you watch movies and whatnot. That's right, but no matter what, the act of saving people regardless of their value system and personal definitions of justice, that's got to be just any way you look at it, right? Yeah, probably. Saving someone's life means protecting their future. I just find that to be so incredibly noble, which is why I want to be a rescue worker. Oh, it's just an idea. I guess I could be a firefighter or a nurse if that matters. If all that matters is me having a job that involves saving lives. Watase watched his sister bashfully speak before he muttered in approval. I see, yeah. I get where you're coming from. So you understand? Yeah, I think it's admirable, but there's just one thing bugging me. Did I have to be a rescue worker of all things? Hate to say it, but you've got horrible stamina and your reflexes suck. Ugh. If you ever become a rescue worker, you'd be more likely to die before you could save anyone. Well, maybe, but I'd make up for what I lack in strength with passion and spirit. But even a total dunce like me could do something if I work myself to the bone to keep running forward. Work myself to the bone, Wataru. It's the feeling that counts. The feeling that my own life means nothing if it can be used to protect other lives. Hey, hold on, Wataru. Watase interrupted his sister with a bit of a force in his voice. Quit saying stupid shit like my own life means nothing. Our old man and lady would cry if they ever heard that. Wataru gasped at the sudden serious tone and speech her brother had adopted. You're right. I really hate to make Mum sad in particular. Well, of course. Watase and Wataru were fraternal twins, but they'd heard that their delivery had been quite the difficult one, naturally. So much that their mother's life had been in danger for a little while. It was for that reason that their parents showered them with love once they'd been safely born. Thus, it was only natural that Watase got angry about Wataru talking about her own life like it was nothing. Okay, I'll stop talking about my life so lightly. Yeah, that's better. But I won't give up on my dream of working to protect lives. At any rate, if your life was ever in grave danger, I'd save you in a heartbeat, even if it cost me my life. What? Weren't you listening to what I just said? The old lady would cry if she ever... We were both born from her, there's nothing wrong with at least protecting each other, is there? And besides, I am your big sis, remember? Watase just shook his head in exasperation when he saw Wataru's beaming smile. Well, I just hope that day never comes. Yeah, knock on wood. The twins smiled at each other. Okay, I think we cooled down 100%. Shall we continue running? Sure, race you back home. Sound good? The loser has to treat the winner to ice cream. Quit while you're ahead. You never keep up that bet. They said that and started running back toward their home. The apartment they lived in just came into view after they'd run about 2 kilometers. Watase and Wataru had been keeping up side by side, but I'll be going on ahead now. Wataru suddenly dashed ahead as she said that. You got too cocky, Watase. That ice cream's all mine. What? Hey, no fair! Watase then sped up in an attempt to catch up to her. But then a car suddenly sped onto the street from the side road. Wataru froze in shock. The driver slammed the brakes, but the car kept skidding towards Wataru without stopping. That thing's gonna run her over. Watase's body sprung into action the moment that thought crossed his mind. Wataru? Watase dashed towards Wataru with the force of a speeding bullet and pushed her aside. A second later, he felt an impact run near his thighs. Watase was sent flying by the car and soon crashed into the pavement. Watase groaned as he laid face up on the street. His line of sight was completely filled with the beautiful orange sky. Watase? He heard Wataru crying out to him from somewhere. He then heard a car door opening, followed by the voice of a man who was apparently the driver. This is bad. Call an ambulance. Watase's gonna die. If it had been under normal circumstances, Watase would have let out a sigh of exasperation at her cries. I ain't gonna die, but my leg does hurt like hell. He didn't feel like he was in any danger of dying, but though his leg hadn't hurt all that much at the moment of impact, it suddenly started to seethe with intense pain. His mind was growing fuzzy. Perhaps he'd suffered a concussion. The ambulance is on its way, so don't die, Watase. What was all that I'd save you in a heartbeat if it cost me my life BS about? I was the one who ended up saving you. Some rescue that was. Rude. As he thought all that, Watase lost consciousness. After having saved Wataru from being run over by a car, Watase was hospitalized with a broken right femur. Though he was grateful to have his own room, thanks to the large sum the driver paid as reparations. It seemed that Wataru had been more hurt by the incident than Watase. I'm sorry, Watase. This is all my fault. Wataru burst into tears when she came to visit Watase and saw the cast the hospital had set on his leg. Watase spoke with a wave of the hand. Nah, don't worry about it, it's just a broken leg. And there doesn't seem to be any permanent damage. I see, that's good to hear. Wait, no, not good, but... Wataru let out a heavy sigh. All I do is cause trouble whenever I try to do something. You must hate having such a dumbass for a big sis, don't you? Seriously, that's not true at all. Watase spoke encouragingly to the totally dispirited Wataru. Don't be so hard on yourself, it's no fun seeing you depressed. Besides, I was the one who voluntarily ran with you. It's my fault that I got hurt. Hey, you should stop forcing yourself to come. I mean, I know you think it's a total pain in the ass. Well, at first I did, yeah, but not anymore. Now I want to try and help you accomplish your dream. Huh? Watase gave his sister a faint smile when he saw the stunned look on her face. It doesn't matter what your physical abilities are, you're still amazing. You have big dreams about getting a job that'll let you save lives. I'm a little jealous of you. I don't have anything like that at all. There are things I can do, but I don't have anything I want to do. But you're the complete opposite. You find what you want to do, and you put everything you've got into it. Even though your motive was just a spur-of-the-moment idea, you've been running every day for 3 months because of it. You're confident in yourself, and you don't hesitate to act. So I felt that if I kept on hanging out with you, I might find something I like too. No way. That's the way you've been thinking? Yeah, kinda. So you're jealous of a weak little thing like me? Wataru let out an embarrassed laugh, and then looked at Watase and spoke. But you know, I'm sure that you'll find something you want to do sooner or later. You really think so? I just know you're the kind of kid who can do anything he wants, as long as you act before you think about every little thing, that is. Aren't you the one who should think a little more before you act? I've already considered that, you know. Watase sighed when he heard that. But hey, thanks. Though I think the whole looking for something I want to do thing will have to wait until after my leg heals up. That's true. I'll come visit you every week until then. No thanks. Oh come on, I'd feel bad if I didn't, seeing as how you don't have a girlfriend to do that for you. Well, you're the one who needs to hurry up and get a boyfriend already. The twins then shared a laugh. The two of them chatted for a little while longer, and the time came for Wataru to leave. Okay then, I should probably be heading home for today. Yeah, tell the old man I said hi. Alright. Okay then. See you later. Wataru then turned to leave the room. She looked so lonely from behind that Watase called out to her one more time. Wataru? Yeah? Let's start running again once my leg heals up. If you'd like, I'll keep doing that with you until you become a bona fide rescue worker. Wataru smiled brightly at that suggestion. Thanks, Watase. Wataru finally left the room with those words. And thus Watase's peaceful life at the hospital went on for a while after that. It was a fairly simple life where he just spent his time either attending to people who came to visit him, or just eating, reading, and sleeping on alone. But one night, 8 days after Wataru would come to visit him, something unexpected happened. And I'm guessing we should actually wrap this one up here because we've been going for 3/4 of an hour, and I imagine we're going to be spending a lot of time in Watase's memories, because I imagine that's going to be the last of the information we need to piece everything together, finally, to come with a final resolution. But we shall see. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.